Today I'm going to show you how to make sweet and sour chicken. First we're going to get started with our chicken because we want it to marinate. So that's our first thing to get started. I have 5 chicken breasts because I have a small one here, and so I just put 5 of them together, and then my recipe calls for 4, but since one's being so small, we'll just make it do and it'll be perfectly fine. So what I need to do is I'm going to trim these down. I'm going to take off the fat and the gristle out of it, and I'm going to save those pieces for our chicken fat, to render down to chicken fat. Now if you haven't seen my video for chicken fat, you guys go ahead and then look at the video. Like I said, you're going to be saving them, so every time you do chicken, any pieces that you get off of there, throw them in a bag, throw them in the freezer. And you can just keep adding to it and adding into it and adding to it until you get enough to put into a deep saucepan. So look at that video and it'll show you how much you need, or approximately, to do some chicken fat. So anyway, let me go ahead and get these prepared. I have them on a cutting board right now on a paper towel. And the purpose of the paper towel is to get them to have all the liquid, kind of just dry them up is what we're trying to do, because the drier they are, the better that your marinade is going to get into the chicken. So let's just start here with our first piece, and we are going to start cutting up that chicken, getting the little fat pieces off. Don't forget to always start with a really sharp knife. Now you don't have to use a knife that I have. You can use whatever knife you've got. I particularly just like my big, huge knife. It's really sharp. It gets the job done, and that's all I need. And we're going to be cutting this into little pieces, so it doesn't have to be precise. Okay? So don't worry about that part. Just cut that off. Go around the sides, that's okay. A little bit of fat is okay for me. It's your preference, however you like it to be. And that's fine. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and start chopping these up. This one's ready. I want to get this to be pretty much dried up here. And then I have a bowl here that I'm going to stick them in. And we'll put our marinade ingredients in there after I have all the chicken done. So let me go ahead and cut this up. You can see how I'm doing this. Slicing them pretty thin, about 1/8 of an inch. You don't have to be any particular way about it. It doesn't have to be chunks, okay? We don't want chunks. We want sliced meat. Reason being is the batter takes better to the sliced meat than it does your chunks. Chunks will take longer to cook, and the slices make it look more, I can't really say authentic, but as far as puffy pieces, if you want to call it that. Move this out. I'm just going to use my cutter here instead of the paper towel. There we go. Throw these in my bowl for fat. Stop slicing. I don't know if you can see how thin that is. Like that. Throw them in the bowl. I'll just go back and forth over the chicken breast. Throw them in the bowl. There we go. Okay. That going in the fat. I'm just going to keep doing all my chicken just like that. Same way I should have showed you, and when I'm done with this, I'll be right back. Okay, I wanted to show you this. I do have a chicken breast, that it has a little bit of freezer burn. Now you can tell on that is because at the top of it, it has these little white marks on here. So you will have to remove the freezer burn part of it so that it doesn't taste different. Just say it will taste funny if you leave that on. So please take that off. And you just want to slide it over real thin. Just take off that first layer here. And you do not, I guess you can if you want to put it in with your chicken fat, but I prefer not to since it's going to take that away. I don't know what it's going to do to the oil, but I'm pretty much not going to be using it for that purpose. So I just prefer just to get rid of it. So we'll go ahead and take anything, like I said, any white piece that you see. Sometimes you don't get it, you don't use the chicken fast enough. So, and that's why you'll have this little white, part of it. You want your chicken to be pink, okay? You want it to be nice and pink. So if there's any discoloration, you definitely don't want that. And I'm going to cut this out here because I want to take this piece of the chicken. I don't like that gristle that's in the middle of it. I really don't like that. Chunking it, biting into that. That's probably why I do the chicken like I do. I'm not much of a gizzard person or fat person. I like my fat, but I don't like to eat fat. But I like the fat for flavor. So I just wanted to show you that, and we're just going to keep cutting until I can get all the rest of them finished up here. Sliced up. Put them in my bowl and get the marinade going. I'll be right back. Okay, I have all my chicken in here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some paper towels and I'm just going to go and soak up any extra water that I can. So I'm just pushing it down in there. Just kind of saying, hey, give up the juice, basically. Just want it to soak up as much as I can. Because I really want that flavor of that chicken to have. To hold a lot more flavor. So, and the water kind of dilutes it, so we don't want the water in there. We just need chicken. Alright. I think that's good. Pretty much did dry it when it was on the cutting board, but it's a little bit more liquid, as you can see, is coming out. That's great. Okay. Picking up a little bit as I can. Okay, throw that away. And while I was cutting up the chicken and stuff, I went ahead and I washed my cutting board, got me a clean knife, washed my cutting board, and set this aside because I got pineapple to cut up and stuff. So let's get started on the marinade, shall we? Now our marinade consists of rice wine, salt, egg, and chicken bouillon. So 1 tablespoon of rice wine vinegar, tablespoon. 1 tablespoon of rice wine vinegar. If you don't have rice wine vinegar, it's okay, no big deal. Just use white vinegar and you're fine. This has it has a malt smell to it, the rice wine vinegar. I think I'm just using organic right here. It doesn't matter if it's organic or not, really. Just use whatever you think, whatever you think. You could probably even use apple cider vinegar if you really wanted to. Just any good vinegar will do, but rice wine, like I said, smells like a malt vinegar. And then a teaspoon of salt. A teaspoon out. Half a teaspoon is going to have to do. So, let's see, a teaspoon of salt. I have Himalayan salt here. This is a half, so I need 2 of these. 1, 2. 2 of those. And a large beaten egg. Now it says to reserve 2 tablespoons for the batter. So this is what I'm going to do. I have my egg here. Nice fresh farm egg. Just like that. Okay, we're going to go ahead and beat it up. Okay. And I'm going to reserve 2 tablespoons. Reserve the 2 tablespoons for the batter. I should just pour it in there. I don't even know if it's going to go in there, but we'll see. 1, 2. It's all going to be in there soon, so we're going to just add that to it. Okay. And then 1 teaspoon of chicken bouillon. And again, I need to grab another. I think I have a dry one there, right? 1 teaspoon, so that's half a teaspoon. Yeah. So 2 of these. Do not skip this step. This is where you're going to make a difference, okay? Chicken bouillon is going to get in there and give it some flavor. And we definitely need to get my spatula stirred up. Apologize, I didn't have this stuff already prepared. But that's okay. I try to remember as much utensils as I can. But sometimes you don't remember everything. Especially when you're getting older, you don't remember lots of stuff, so I've had to write everything down because I've done these recipes for a long time, but you know, as I get older, I don't remember them. Like, I know I've cooked them 1,000 times and maybe I should remember them, and my memory's not as good as it used to be. But that's okay. That's why I needed to do this for my kids and for my nephews and nieces and for my grandchildren and great-grandchildren, so that they have these recipes and they don't have to, you know, call somebody up and go, hey, I need this, or do you have that, or whatever, and oh, I forgot how they did it. You know how they did it? But this will definitely be a lot easier on the kids. So if there's somebody new out there and they want to try my recipes, go right ahead. They're for everybody. I'm not stingy. I don't want to keep everything to myself, because why? What for? So, okay, now the chicken is done. We've mixed it all up pretty good. I'm just going to let that set and marinate. Let it marinate for at least 30 minutes. I get everything else prepared. I don't really time it, but I guess I could time it for 30 minutes. But usually this meal takes a little bit of getting everything together. So by the time I've got everything ready and the oil hot, it's been marinated for 30 minutes. So go ahead and set your timer now, so you'll know it's been marinating for 30 minutes if it's your first time. Okay, I'm going to set that aside. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and get my rice prepared. And it says 2 cups of rice washed and 4 cups of water. So we have, I'm going to go ahead and use my Instapot. Now the Instapot's the same thing as basically another tool that you can use. But it's just like a pan that you're putting in there. And I'll show you how to use the Instapot. But if you don't have an Instapot, you can just use a regular, I'll show you what you need. Pot with lid. Now, this pot right now, I would use this pot. But right now I have oil in it because that's what I'm going to be using to cook my chicken. So right now I've got the oil in there and I'm not going to use that pot. But if I was to do the rice, this would be the kind of pot that you want to use. You want to use a pot with a vent on it. Some type of vent. And you want to be able to close that vent. Okay, because you want it to be able to steam that rice. So on my Instapot, it has a lid to it, and it does all the venting and everything for me. So if you don't have one, try to get you a pan with a lid that has a vent on it, okay? Get my Instapot out, ready, pull it out over here, get it plugged in. Real simple, that's why I always just get it ready. I don't want to turn it on yet, I just want to get it ready. So the rice, clean bowl, clean pan, pot, 2 cups of rice, washed. It's over here already. I already got it on the table. I even had it out here. Okay. So 2 cups of rice. Now I save my rice, and I put my rice in these containers. Now, these creamer containers, I don't know if you know, but they make excellent containers for dry products. So you don't have to be fancy. You don't have to go get stuff that's expensive. Use the stuff that you buy the products in, reuse them. Don't go out and buy anything fancy. It's not imperative that you have that. You just need something that's going to keep your food dry. And you buy the rice in those big packs, clear packages, open them up, throw them all in a container, fill it up. I put a plastic bag over this, a Ziploc bag, and then I just put the lid on there, and that seals the freshness in. It is done. So that's how I do my rice. So 2 cups of rice it is. I just saw something in there that I don't want in there. And I don't know what that is. Well, that's why we wash our rice. You never know. You'd be having things in there you don't even know what was in there. 1, 2. I know 2 cups of rice doesn't really seem like a lot, but it is. It is a lot of rice. This will feed at least 6 people. At least. And you might even have a little bit of leftovers. But just so you know, when you prepare 2 cups of rice, add that water in there. 4 cups of water. 4 cups of water, 2 cups of rice is going to feed you 6 people. There you go. So we're going to take this over to the sink. I'm going to wash it, rinse it, wash it, rinse it, wash it, rinse it. And you want to rinse it till it's pretty much clear. Okay? And any of the particles are going to lift up to the top, and they're going to come out of the water. And you want to do that. Like I said, if you leave your rice and you leave it sitting in those containers, you'll see there's little bugs in there and stuff. This is why everybody should rinse their rice, because those bugs do grow in there. They do. And so this is very, very, very important that you wash your rice. Okay, I'm going to go wash this, and I will be right back. Okay, I want to show you guys. This is the first wash. Look at that. That's pretty gnarly, right? You don't want to eat all that. Plus, if you really look at it, there's black particles in there. Yeah, you don't want to eat that. So we're going to rinse it. And this is really dirty water, okay? Just consider this dirty water. I'm going to keep rinsing until you can see my fingers through it. I'll be right back. Okay, this is my 3rd rinse. As you can see, I can see my fingers in there. I can see the rice. And it's pretty clear. It's not as bad as the first one, that's for sure. But 3 is really good. If you want to do a 4th one, you can do a 4th one. It's really up to you. But like I said, I can see my hand in the water. See? Then we're going to go ahead and toss the water out. For those of you that use your sink water, able to use your sink water, which I'm not able to use because I'm on the farm. So we're not able to use our sink water like that. We have to pretty much filter our water because we have well water. So we filter our water using the regular filters that you buy at the store. And then we fill up our containers full of water. Let's see. Jar here of water. When you fill this up, I want you to take pinky, and you can see your first notch on your pinky. It's a good reference. This touches the rice. That's the line that you want to use to fill all the water up. It's all the water that you need. But if you really want to measure it, you're going to do your 4 cups of water. If that's what you really want to do. Since I'm using the Instant Pot, I'm not going to use 4 cups of water. I would drop it down to at least the 3 cups of water. Okay? So instead of doing, like I said, 4 cups of water, it'd be 3 cups of water, because the condensation in here is going to create even more water. So you don't really need all that water. If you're doing it in a regular pot, you're just going to fill it up until it hits your little pinky, touch the rice, and your water line. So, I'm gonna rinse this out, dry it up, so I can get my water in there. And I am going to be using that, oh, where did I put that at? Rice. I said 4 cups of water. That's if I'm using a regular pan. Oh, I was looking at my recipe here. I need to bring it back up here. Okay. 4 cups of water, but since I'm using the Instant Pot, I'm only going to use 3. And the rice that you use is very important. 2 and 3. And I just want to see what difference that makes. Let's see. If I'm using the Instant Pot, how deep is that water? That water just barely covers the tip of my finger. Probably about right here. That little line right here. That's about it. That's what it covers right there. Like I said, you will see the moisture in their Instant Pot is a lot of moisture. So let it do its thing. I also like to add, just me, I didn't put it on my recipe, but because I'm using this pot, I like to add a little bit of brown sugar. And my brown sugar helps the rice not to stick to the bowl. So you want to just put in, I got 1 teaspoon. That's all you need. Just put 1 teaspoon in there and mix it up. I know it doesn't seem like a lot. That's okay. My rice is jasmine rice because I like to use the sweet rice when I'm doing my sweet and sour chicken. You can use whatever rice that you want. Basmati rice, does not matter. Long grain rice, doesn't matter. But I like the jasmine rice because it is sweeter and it becomes almost like a sticky rice if you overcook it. It will be sticky rice. Excuse me. Put that in there. And if you want to be more authentic, you can put, where is it at? When you go to the Asian stores, you want to pick up some dried seaweed. You take one leaf of dried seaweed. That's all you need. Well, this stuff is crackling, ain't it? Just want 1 piece of dried seaweed. And I'm going to stick that on the top. Put that in there, kind of submerge it in that water. That's what I want. And that flavor from the seaweed. You wouldn't think it would be a lot, but it does. It's good for rice. So try that. If you're in the mood to do a little bit of authentic Chinese rice, try that. Now I'm going to stick this in my Instant Pot over here. Just bear with me here. Let me turn you up. Okay, I've got my Instant Pot over here. Turn it on. Okay, where's my lid? There's my lid. And my lid's got that vent on there. I know on my canning shows I've already shown people how to use the Instapot. Here you have the valve here. You want to make sure that's closed. When you snap on that lid, you hear it go click. It'll go beep, 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 and it'll click. Just make sure you close that valve so it'll cook right. You set it on there. You hear that? It's locked. Set my vent to close. And it'll be ready for me to turn it on whenever I need. Usually takes about, I don't know, 12 minutes or so to do my rice. I like to turn it down a little bit and not do it as long, because the longer you cook it, the more mushier it's going to get. So in between 6 to 12 minutes, depending on how many cups of rice you're using, but usually it has its own setting. It has a rice setting. Set to 12 right now. I prefer just take a couple minutes off of it and do it, you know, down to 10. Actually, it won't even let me do it. I'm going to cancel that, and we're going to wait until I'm ready. It has an automatic set button for rice, 12 minutes, and it takes time to build up pressure in that Instapot. So do take that into account when you're making this meal. This meal is not quick and easy, so if you want to prepare it overnight and let that chicken marinate overnight, you can go ahead and do that. It'll be easier for you in the morning. But just know that batter is going to be, if you set it in the batter and just leave it in the fridge with the batter in it, it's not going to cover the chicken as well as you want it to. So if you're just going to do it overnight, just use the marinade. Do not put the batter in there. Just marinade only. Put that in the fridge. Okay. So I've got my rice ready. I've got my chicken marinating. I need to make, what is that? What do I need to do now? I got the rice, chicken marinating. I gotta get my sauce and my batter prepared. That's what I need to do. So let's go do our sauce. Let's get our sauce prepared. Then I'm going to take you over to the blender. And then we'll take it quickly over to the blender, and we're going to blend up those spices. So I'm going to grab my pineapple. And my pineapple is definitely ready. As you can see, look at that. It's definitely ready. It's going to be as sweet as it's going to get. Just right there. So we're going to go ahead and look at our recipe, and it calls for 1 can of pineapple chunks. Now usually 1 can is going to be 2 cups of pineapple. And I'm going to go ahead and cut this up. Turn this over. Cut the top off. Get that out of here. You don't need that. Flip it over. My towel though. Get all these pieces off of here. Okay. Go ahead and slice the bottom. Now the riper it is, you see, it's so much easier to cut that off. It just cuts off really nicely when it's nice and ripe. And we'll go around. Make sure you get all that brown off of there with it. I always work with a nice sharp knife, so just be careful when you're cutting. You definitely will cut your fingers if you don't pay attention to what you're doing. Okay. Now you can save these pineapple pieces here. Put them in a pan, cook them, boil them, put oranges with them, put whatever fruit you want with it, okay? And make you some tea, some really nice tea. That would be good. You can freeze it and do it some other time, because this is a big meal, so don't do it right away. Save it, freeze it. Do it when, when you want to do something different. That's a good project. So I'm just going to cut this up because I'm going to put it in the blender. I'm just going to slice it up so I can evenly get it into the blender Don't have to worry about that. You'll want to cut. Let's see if I can do this easy. I don't know if I can. If it'll let me do it or not. It's too big. I don't have a biscuit cutter's too big too. Huh, I thought maybe I had a smaller little cutter to get in there, but I guess I don't. So I'm just going to cut it quarters. Cut out that middle part. Cut it quarters. And I'm just going to cut that middle part. And I'm going to throw this in the blender until I get 2 cups. It says on that blender. That's what I want. 2 cups showing on the blender. There we go. You know what, and I don't have any music to these videos, but that's okay, because my husband watches TV, and he's pretty much my music man right there, because he's got the TV going while I'm doing this. And he's anxiously waiting on dinner. So, I had pineapples on sale, so I went ahead and got these ones fresh. Now, I do have canned pineapple. I do can that. So if you want to check my video out on how to can pineapple, you can do that. But this is one purpose that I can pineapple for is my sweet and sour chicken. So let me see if that's going to be 2 cups. I might as well just do the whole thing here, because just go ahead and get it done and over with. I do have another pineapple that I do need to can or eat, one of the two, because it's ready, just like this one is. Okay. Now it's got that hard middle that you want to take out. It is not good to eat that. It is so bitter, but it does make for some really good tea. More juice. Let's boil it up. Okay. Let me throw this in my blender. Add a couple pieces at a time and then blend those up. Okay, I'm going to go over to my blender here. Get it out. See what I'm doing here. Get my blender out. Plugged in. Yep. Just check and make sure there's nothing in it. Right? Okay. Set up. A couple pieces in there. Couple more pieces. Make sure you're aware of your 2 cup mark. If you lose track of where your 2 mark is, which is, I've already lost track of my 2 cup mark. On this side or the other side. Oh, way over here on this side. 2 cup mark is right there. So I'm going to cheat. And I'm just going to stick a piece of tape. My fingers always get stuck. So take a little piece of tape here. And I'm going to put that up there. A little 2 mark. And I'm going to fill it up to that mark. And a couple at a time until it gets to be so loud. I'm going to keep doing this till I get up to that mark, okay? I'll be right back. Okay. Now, if you can see on here, let me show you here. I'll bring this over. I'll put up to my line mark here. Now, when it is settled, that's how you want to tell. You don't want to be blending it and it goes up to that mark. You want to make sure it settles all the way down, and that's the line that you want it to go to. Okay. Now we're going to add the rest of our ingredients, and then we are going to go ahead and mix it up again. A little piece on the lid. Okay, the rest of it, which is 1.5 tablespoons of cornstarch. Let me get another tablespoon. In my bottle, probably in my over here with my stuff. Yeah. Yep, another dry one. Okay. Cornstarch, where did you go? All right, cornstarch. I need to dry my hands up a little bit. Use my hands for cutting that pineapple. Dry those up a little bit. Let's get 1.5 tablespoons. So 1, and I'll just scoop it on the top of the lid. 1.5. And 1/2. I just like dunk it in there, kind of pull it out. Face it towards me, kind of get that 1/2 in there. 1/2. Okay, 1.5. Now you're gonna need 1/2 cup of brown sugar. 1/2 cup. Let's see if we can find 1/2 cup in here. Oh, I got a 1/4 cup. Just need 2 of those. Okay. Remember, you want to pack your brown sugar in there. So get this on there. Put your thumb in there and pack it down. It'd be easier if I was using my bag, but I'm not. But that's okay. All right. Did I say I needed 1/2 cup? So that's 1/4. One more here. I'm gonna have to refill this back up anyway, so I might as well just use the bag. That's okay. Just gonna pack it in there. Just pack it. Put it in there. Okay, there's your brown sugar. 1/2 teaspoon of soy sauce. 1/2 teaspoon. This is 1/4, so I need 2 of these. So 1/2 teaspoon it is. Okay. 1/2 teaspoon. 1 teaspoon of rice vinegar. Okay. Where'd my rice vinegar go? So 2 of those. 1. I'm almost out of this rice vinegar. Well, I don't have any more rice vinegar, so I'm just going to use my regular distilled white vinegar. Since I'm out, I need to go to the store. Okay, use what you got. Use what you got. Let's see. Rice vinegar, 1 cup of ketchup. Where's my ketchup go? There you go. Okay. Well, looks like I need to go shopping here. Well, I do have stuff, but let me. What have I got cup in here? That's what I use my water for. I'm gonna use that. Open it up. A cup of ketchup. I learned this, what is it, sweet and sour sauce a long time ago from another chef, a friend of mine. Showed me how to make this sweet and sour sauce, and I've used this ever since. The way that they made it ever since. I've never really liked the sweet and sour sauce that you make, Chinese sweet and sour sauce. I don't know what it is, but it doesn't have, I don't know, it's different, what I should say. Take that off of there. Here we go. Get the rest of that out to be 1 cup. Don't skimp on the ketchup. It's going to be okay. One whole cup. I'm not going to use that because we used it for the chicken, so we don't want to do that. Let's see. Okay. Now that we're done with that, that's our sauce. Oh, don't forget the 1½ teaspoon of orange peel. Now, what I did was, my husband likes oranges, and so I just take the orange peel, put it in my dehydrator. I dice it up, put it through my dicer, put it on the dehydrator, and get them all dehydrated. I can make orange bread and all kinds of stuff with it. And I just keep it in this jar. There's a little bit of those air freshener packs in there. Keep it nice and fresh. And then when I want to make my Chinese sweet and sour sauce, I will grind it up in a coffee grinder, and then I will use 1½ teaspoons of that. And I need another one. This is why I have so many, so many measuring. That little measure here, measure there, everything. So what is it? 1½ teaspoons. This is 1/4. I have to do 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. I did 6 of those because I only had 1/4 teaspoon. I'll let it go. There it is. Now I can put the lid on this, and we're going to go ahead and get this into the blender and put that in a pot. I'm going to get that done, and I'll be right back. Okay, now I've got my sauce in a pan. It's waiting for me to turn it on. And I am going to head and I'm going to get my oil turned on. So I've got my pan with filled up about halfway with regular vegetable oil. I'm going to turn that on. Not my sauce, just my oil for my chicken. So I'm going to turn that on. Stick a temperature gauge in there. The right temperature gauge. Oh, make a noise. Okay. Turn this on. Put that on dual high there. Get that oil on. Leave my sauce alone. It's not ready to turn on yet. Let's go ahead and make our batter. So for the batter, we need 2 cups of self-rising flour. Okay, so I had to find my self-rising flour. And we said we needed, how much of it? 2 cups. Let me get another cup out. It's 2/3. Here's 1 cup. Okay, so 2 cups. 2 cups. One. Stuff is so smooth. 2. Now you can add some more baking powder if you wish. That's up to you. That's not the lid for that. And if you do, it's going to be 1/4 teaspoon. So I have 1/4 teaspoon here. Not really much. Just add it in there. Not a big deal. Make sure it's going to rise for you. Puff up. That's what you want that batter to do. So 2/3 cup of cornstarch. Grab my cornstarch again. And you need 2/3 cup. 2/3 cup here. Here's my 2/3 cup. I'm gonna get, oh man, Look what I did to myself, shaking it up. This is why you definitely need an apron when you're cooking with flour, just in case something like that ever happens to you. All right, not a big deal. So 2/3 cup, I'm just gonna put it in here. Just trying to shake it up, but it didn't really want to shake up, did it? That cornstarch is gonna make it crunchy. So cornstarch it up. Okay, 2/3 cup. And then we got a teaspoon of salt. And let's see, teaspoon of salt. 1 teaspoon. I need 4 of these. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. 4 teaspoons. Well, that's 1/4 teaspoon, so that was 1 teaspoon of salt. And we were only supposed to use a half. That's fine. You'll be fine. I've got an extra breast in there, so it should work out. Looks like my recipe calls for 1 3/4 cups of water. So where's my water? Okay, I need another cup. No, I don't. I'll just use this. 1 3/4 cup. I thought I had a 1/4 cup. I do, but I want to stir this up before I mix the water in. I just want to make sure. I'm going to do a quick mix here. Mix it up. All those ingredients together. Get it evenly distributed in there. It's always good to do that. Okay, I think that's good. Okay, now we can add the water, 2 3/4 cups. So 1 cup, 3/4 cups. So you got a 1/4 cup. So I'm going to use 3 of these. 1, 2, 3. Use that. I'm going to go ahead and mix that. Mixing that up a little bit. There we go. Add my oil. 2 tablespoons of oil. And for my oil, I'm going to go ahead and use my olive oil here. 2 tablespoons. 1, 2. And 1 teaspoon of white vinegar. Oops, that's not the lid. Okay. Now, white vinegar. 1 teaspoon. Which 1/4, so I need 4 of these. 1, 2, 3, 4. Good to go. Now, if you wanted to use malt vinegar, you could do that, but I know some people, they don't really like malt vinegar. But that's up to you. If you have malt vinegar, try it. Try it out. It'll be all right. Got all these flavors in there. It'll take care of you. Okay, then we're going to add that last ingredient, which is your reserved 2 tablespoons of your egg. So we're going to put that in there. That's our last one there. Okay, we'll mix that up. And this will be your batter for all that chicken. Try to get all the lumps out. Just gotta stir. Use those arm muscles. Whether you use a spatula, a whisk would probably be faster. But since I've got a spatula, I'm just kind of scraping out the bottom of here with all that flour. That I can't really do with the whisk, but I can do it with the spatula. There. And I'll change over to my spatula, or my whisk, because I don't want to take all day to do this. Let me grab my whisk. Whisk, where you at? Heavy duty whisk I need. Is it in my dishwasher? I'm gonna use this one anyway. I'll use this one. My blender whisk. That's alright. Or my mixer whisk. There's a blender whisk. It doesn't matter. It's a whisk. Use what you got. Try to get it nice and smooth. All those lumps. See how much that whisk just really takes those lumps out a lot faster than a spatula. Okay, once that's done, we can add our chicken to the batter. Pour it all in there with the marinade. Everything goes in. Then I'll take my spatula back and I will stir it up. Yay! Nice. You want to make sure that everything's coated so nice. And this is going to be awesome. My oil, let me see what my oil is doing over there. My oil is at 350 right now. I want to wait till it gets to be about 400. But I'm going to mix this up and I'm going to get my pan, like a flat pan. Could be a cookie sheet, doesn't matter what it is. Just something you can put a paper towel on, and so you can soak up the oil for the first fry. Okay. Okay, let me get you over to the stove. Okay, what I wanted to show you first was, if you don't want to do any extra dishes, just take a pan, flat pan like that, put some aluminum foil over that, then take your paper towels and put them on top. That way the oil goes through, it won't hit the pan, and you don't have another dish to wash. So this takes a lot of dishes right now. So one less pan to wash, this will make it a whole lot easier. Okay. Okay, so right now over the stove, I've got my oil's hot. It's up to 400, and I haven't started this yet, and that's okay. I want to wait until I get the first batch going. But I will turn my rice on. Okay, it's closed, the vent is down, and I want to hit the rice button, and I want to just let that do its thing. Now, I'm going to bring my chicken over here. And my trick is to use a toothpick. Oops, I'm using the wrong end. I'm going to use the right end. I'm just going to pick it up and lay it in that hot oil. This will be my first fry. Just pick them up, lay them in there, kind of give it a little bit of a twist. Now you know, as I know, if you know as well as I do, hopefully, if you've been cooking with hot oil, you don't just use it once, you might use it a couple times. And I just want to test my oil right now. So I'm just going to quickly turn it down just a little bit. It does look like it's getting kind of hot, really hot. And I don't want it to go over, you don't want it to go over 400. So do watch that. You can tell by how fast everything is pretty much cooking. So we'll take these out. They're nice and brown. Put those over here. This is my first fry. We will be frying them again. You're just going to let them sit on there and let them cool. Just keep frying. And I have a lot to do, so I'm just going to keep frying until my rice is done and my sauce is done. So now it's up to par. I'm just going to get enough for me and my family tonight. If I have extra, I'm going to take this and I'm going to put it in the fridge for overnight, just overnight, because I know I'm going to cook it all tomorrow, the rest of it tomorrow. But for one night, it's a lot of chicken, but we also like to put it in our, I don't want to come off this thing. Take your time, try to rush it. Stick them in there. Keep going. Try to get, a piece at a time. Whew. They're already starting to brown. So once you see them starting to brown, stop dropping. Because otherwise you're going to have to pick through all those pieces just to get the ones that are brown. And it's going to cook so fast, you're not even going to have to worry about that. It's going to be brown. Nice brown. Stick those out here on that plate. There. See, now don't that look like sweet and sour chicken? Now you could eat it just like that if you want to, but I like to have it have a second fry. I do. I like it to be a little bit more crunchier, and with that second fry it does. It gives it that crunch. Just keep dropping them in the oil. I guess if they come off my skewer a lot faster, I might be able to put more in there. But no rush. No rush. Still got my rice to cook. And my sauce to cook. Oops, they're starting to get brown, so stop. Put them in. We're just going to keep doing this until I get a nice big batch to feed everybody in the house tonight. But I know that we'll get fed and be full. So just enough. You could do the whole stuff, all of it if you like, but I just have extra because I used to feed 6 people, and now I don't do it anymore. But I do like having the extra for next day. For the next day, it's nice to have that on the side. So I'm gonna get my chicken done, and then I'll be right back when we're ready to start the sauce. Okay, I am still doing my chicken. I've got 7 minutes left on my Instapot. I don't know if you can see that, but we'll see. 7 minutes left on my Instapot, and I'm gonna turn this on. I want this to be almost on high. And then I'll put that in here so we can stir up my sauce. Now it is a little bit thick. I might add a little bit of water to it, just depending on how thick it is. Just so it's a little bit more in here. That just depends. Because we use it straight from the pineapple, If you're using it with the can, usually you put the whole can in the blender and that juice and all. You know, you're just putting the whole juice in there. So since I didn't really have any juice in there, I'm just going ahead and add a little bit of water to it. Maybe a quarter cup or half a cup of water I'll put in there with it. Just to see. Probably a quarter cup of water at a time. Now these are getting to be lighter than what I had before. So that means to me that my oil is kind of puttering out on me. It's not quite at 400 anymore. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take those off. I'll let my oil get up to 400. Let my oil go ahead and put that timer back in there. Where did it go? Is this the one? Nope, that's not the one. Not the one I'm using. Okay. Put this back in there. Check my oil temperature. Make sure it has to be at 400. And right now it is saying it is barely 300 right now. Oh, it is 300. 300. So I need it back up to 400. And that's a good tell sign that your oil is losing the temperature, is because your chicken is not quite cooking as fast as it was when you first put it in there. And you keep going and going along and along. If you add too much chicken in there, it will change the temperature down. It'll drop the temperature of the oil and it won't be consistent. So the reason why I do them in those batches, what I do, is because I want to try to keep my oil up to 400 as possible, as much as possible. And this is how much chicken I did when it was up to 400. See, so we got that much chicken at 400. So I need to make sure that it goes back up to 400 again. We're just about there to start a new batch. Now this looks pretty thick, so I'm going to go ahead and get some more water. Pour a cup of water to this and just give it a little bit of stir because it's looking really thick. Yeah, I think I'm going to add another quarter cup, so that'll be half a cup total that I've added. Just like if you were using a can of pineapples, you have about half a cup of juice in that can. See how that looks so much better? I wish I could describe to you the taste of it. It doesn't taste like ketchup, for sure. And it's sweet, but not sweet. And it's sour, but it's not too sour either. So we're just gonna let that cook while I'm getting this up. Okay, we've reached 400 now. Let's get another batch of chicken going. I got 3 minutes left on my rice cooker. And I still got plenty of time. I gotta get that sauce up to boil. And then we should be eating. Time to fix a meal. As soon as I can get my sauce to get hot enough, we'll have sweet and sour chicken. It doesn't want to get off the spoon. Get it off. Get it off. I think I see some brown pieces in there, so I'm going to stop. Give this a quick stir. Got that going on. Okay. Now it just starts to boil and it starts popping up really, really bad. I'm going to go in and turn it down to like a medium. off. I don't want, I can see it starting to boil. So I don't want it to pop me in the face. You see how light that is? So pretty much I'm about ready to do my second fry here. I've got enough for 3 people right now. My rice is pretty much almost done. And my sauce is hot. So I am pretty much ready to eat here. Just get these. I'm gonna move this over because these are cool. These are the first ones that I did. So I'm going to take these and last and let them cool. I'm going to try to see how much people want in their bowls before I do the second fry. Oh, there goes my Instapot. It's telling me it's done. So I'm going to go release the steam on my Instapot. I'll show you that. Okay. Release the steam. Flip the nozzle. Steam's coming up. And we'll wait for that little red dot thing to go down. Okay, so I'm just going to keep stirring my sauce. Get a bowl. Over here, I've got my spoon. Spoon ready. My rice. I'm going to start that away. Make sure my temperature is back at 400. I hope so. Let's see, 300. Oh, the valve, little red thing went down. Means it's ready to open. Now, I would not normally open if the pressure wasn't down. So now I can open it up. Open it up. Don't turn it towards you. Turn it that way so the steam goes that way. Okay, don't forget we need to remove the seaweed, dried seaweed, which is no longer dry anymore. But you can remove the dried seaweed. Show you what that looks like. Look at that. It's nice and pliable. It almost looks like rubber, but it's not. Anyway, so the rice is cooked to perfection. It's not sticking. Like that. Okay, I'm going to turn this off, cancel that, remove that. Our rice on my plate. Rice on the plate. Get it ready for my chicken. Okay, let it sit that down there. And my chicken, my oil's at 400 again. So now I'm going to take my cold chicken. I'm going to put that back in there, about as much as I'm going to have my husband eat, since I'm going to serve this up. He loves my sweet and sour chicken, so I'm going to give him a little extra and make him full. The nice thing about this is you can serve a lot of people, even though it takes a lot of time. That's okay. Food made with love always takes a little bit of time. Well, a lot of time. And do that second fry. Get them nice and crunchy. And you can kind of tell when you do that second fry how you can just barely touch them and it just, this thing will just bounce right off of them. And I like this thing because the oil gets off of it quickly. Very, very quickly. So stir that. Keep that going. Yes. I'm going to put that right back. On my pan. Get any excess oil off. Kind of keeping it from that other chicken. Nice and golden brown. See, that double fry, it's just really makes a difference. So keep that separated. Give that a few minutes there. Let that oil come off of there. It's going to be really, really hot. I don't want him to burn his tongue. Keep that over there. Okay. And watch this oil, make sure it doesn't go over 400. And if you go over 400, you're going to burn that oil, and whatever you put in there, it ain't going to taste right. So don't let it go over 400 if possible. Always watch your oil when it's on the stove. Do not walk away from your oil. Okay, I've let my chicken set for just a minute or so, which is fine. Now I'm going to put that over here on my rice. Keep those pieces separate. There we go. And then I'll put my sauce on there. You just want to just drizzle it over top. You don't want to smother it too much, but you do want to put that sauce in like empty spots, because you want it to be for the rice as well, and you want that crispy chicken, so you want to make sure you don't cover up the chicken too much. You want it to look something like this, and then you go ahead and take your, if you want to use chopsticks, you can. I like to invest in some good chopsticks, but you just take your piece out like that. Just have at it. Huh. Ooh, that's hot. Right. It is so good. I'm gonna put some more on my husband so he doesn't know that I did that. Yeah. Now this is popping a lot, so I'm going to turn that off because I'm going to make my plate, take this off the heat, and get my plate ready to go. But that one's for my husband. Hope you guys learned something today about sweet and sour chicken, how to make your own sauce. And you might enjoy this better than the Chinese sweet and sour sauce, so try it. You might like it. And I hope everybody learned something today. Thanks for watching my channel. Enjoy.